It's just the way it's supposed to be. The 3 seed against the 2 seed, Marquette against Miami in the Sweet 16. Finally, it goes according to plan. I'm Tom Vandervoort alongside Mike DeCourcy as we break down each and every game of this year's NCAA tournament, thanks to UPS and the UPS Team Performance Index. We're courtside here in Dayton. All the games are over, setting up the Sweet 16. Marquette, Miami, two very good basketball teams. Miami, a real eye-opener this year. How do you see this game going?
Well, Marquette hasn't played well in a while. I mean, they've won a couple of games in this tournament without playing really well. So the question that usually happens at this point, do they go back to work in those 4 or 5 days of practice that they get in advance of their next round and get better and get back to being a really good basketball team? Or do they just sort of come out and just try to squeeze through another one? And what I saw in Marquette was a team with a lot of spirit, a lot of heart, but right now not a real good formula for how to win basketball games. They have a great formula for how to close them out. They've been in a ton of close games. They've won more than their fair share of them. So if it's close at the end, Miami will start to wobble a little bit. Miami has had trouble closing out games. They weren't able to close out the Georgia Tech game, for instance. So that part of it, if it's a close game, certainly Marquette is favored. But Miami has greater size at the forward positions. Certainly Marquette has as big guys as you could have with Chris Atule and Devontae Gardner, but they're going to run into bigger bodies. They're not used to that very much. There aren't very many teams out there that have guys that can match up physically with Atule and Gardner, so I don't know if that works well for them. The one thing that Marquette has that would seem to work well here is Vanderblue. He's been on an absolute tear in this tournament. He has been as good as any player in this tournament, making shots that he didn't make in the regular season, shooting confidently. Certainly he's always been great at attacking the rim, and he's a terrific defender. I'll be interested to see how that works out. And then how does Marquette guard Shane Larkin for Miami? Junior Cadogan did a really nice defensive job on Rodney Clark down the stretch against Butler, but Rodney scored 20 points in the first half, so there was something missing there.
Something missing, right.
So Shane Larkin is not the same sort of player, but certainly capable of putting 25 on you and winning a basketball game. So I think Miami just has a better feel about it right now, but again, they better be up 3 or 4 possessions when they get to those final minutes, or Marquette is right where they want to be.
It certainly seems so. By the numbers, you give the advantage certainly to Miami if I look at the Team Performance Index. What have they done this year to kind of take that next step for Jim Larinaga?
Well, the first thing is the maturation and development of Shane Larkin. Under Frank Haith, during his 7 years as head coach, they never had a point guard. I mean, they had guys that they called a point guard and that bounced the ball up the floor, but they never had a point guard. Shane Larkin to some extent, fell into Larinaga's lap, Jim Larinaga's lap. He was smart enough to recruit him when he was at George Mason. Kid signs with DePaul, goes to Chicago in the summer. Now, he didn't like Chicago in the summer, Tom. If you don't like Chicago in the summer,
good luck to
you do not want to be there in January. So he checked out and was able to get a transfer to Miami, and he has been a revelation. A very fine freshman, but a spectacular All-America sophomore, and he has really energized that entire team. They've always had good size. Durant Scott, for 4 years, has been a very good attacking wing player, but they've never had any definition or direction for their offense. Now they have high level of both.
All right, we'll see what happens. Marquette, Miami, a good matchup in the Sweet 16. For Mike DeCourcy, I'm Tom Vandervoort. Thanks to UPS, and thanks for watching.